Hello and welcome back to the Retro Asylum, episode 357, the UK's #1 retro gaming podcast. I'm Jim Middleton and I'm here with Chris O'Regan. How are we doing, Chris?
I'm all right. It's a Saturday afternoon as we're recording this. A fine August evening. You're about to just shoot off for hollybobs.
I am. Dragging the kids around Europe in the car. What could go wrong?
Everything.
It sounds all good now. I imagine I could well be at the end.
I think the shorter list is what can go right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We'll see. But they've got their Switch, they've got the iPad until they start feeling sick, and then
Gotcha. Yeah. And tell me, why are we here?
Why are we here?
That's not a metaphorical speech, though.
No.
Because that's a whole different podcast that none of us want to take part in. Why are we recording? Not a Saturday afternoon, or indeed ever. No. So why are we here recording this particular episode of Retro Asylum? There you go.
Well,
that's better.
We are talking about an Evercade cartridge. Now, normally we've been going in order with these Evercade cartridges, but me and Mads had Evercade Toaplan 1 cartridge. Chris is just waving in front of me there.
and I played it on this phallic looking thing.
Oh yes, the grip. Yes, I did hear that. Yeah. It's the episode with Dean, wasn't it? You mentioned it.
Yeah. It is. It can be used as a weapon as well as a.
I'm still flying gripless on mine. But there we go.
Yeah,
Evercade Toaplan 1. Now, normally, like I say, we'd be doing these in order, but after we spoke to Sean and Andy over at Blaze, we got a few bits and pieces from them. We asked them, we got a few bits and pieces from them, and we thought, what better way to sort of do like a high score competition and give out some prizes for first and second, and then and we could also do something for a draw. So we'd have a prize for a draw, as the idea being that if you played all 4 games, you would get entered into the prize draw, and which we're drawing on here. I've even been on, Chris, bit of work behind the scenes here. wheelofnames.com. I've got everyone in there and I'm literally ready to hit spin. So we'll do that in a bit.
We will. Exciting times will not be had.
It is, mate. I tell you what, this is like, was it Michael McIntyre's The Wheel, isn't it? But just sort of on a lower budget.
I'm very happy to say I have no idea what you're talking about.
Do you not? Oh, mate, it's prime time Saturday night viewing, that.
Again, broadcast television. What is this again? I remember that. Who watches that anymore? I don't.
Oh, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing in our house. Saturday night.
Is it? Okay, right. Yeah. Again, I do not know what you're talking about. I generally don't. I mean, I'm not being facetious. Generally, I'm not saying it's beneath me, although I am actually.
But it is.
But it is. Welcome to the latest podcast.
Michael McIntyre.
I mean, you said it again. Said the name again, everyone. I'm really sorry on behalf of everyone, because he's about as funny as Michael McIntyre, really. Oh. Anyway, low blow.
It's low blow, yeah. So, that explains why Chris isn't here, because we're doing an episode out of order.
Yes, because he would just he would flounce off. He would flounce.
He would.
He does have an excellent excuse for not being here, though, doesn't he? Yeah. He's got a little doggy.
A little puppy.
It's a little, yeah.
And Mads, we were supposed to be recording with Mads. So normally, obviously, with these Evercade episodes, we do, like, one of us will be playing the games that we're chatting about in the background, but which we were going to do tonight, but Mads unfortunately wasn't able to join us. He's been cutting up wood and stuff by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's doing the lumberjack. He's just doing he's doing the Monty Python thing. I'm a lumberjack, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So
we've gone old school, Chris. We're podcasting. We've got old school.
We have, yes. It's suddenly 2004. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the Xbox 360 is coming out soon. Did you hear about
that? Yes, dude.
You know what? 2001 was an awesome year for games. It really was. Anyway.
So that explains what we're doing tonight and why we're here.
Are we actually going to start this episode, Jim? We're just going to keep on wibbling along. I don't know if we're going to. Yeah, we're just waffling. It's just what we do.
So I suppose if we're going to go all old school, we should do a little bit of what we've been up to and a bit of news.
But do you mind if I start? Because I'm eager.
Go Go for it.
Kick off. I've actually missed something. I missed something on the list because I blame Dean for that, but I will add it despite him. So here we go. I listened to the latest episode of RGDS. Our good friends are there. We have Kingy, who appears on our Retro Wars episodes, and I do listen to them on my commute to work. For I do commute to work, and I actually get on a train and everything because I live in the Londons, but I don't with other people. Ooh. And I actually do go to the office 5 days a week as well. I generally am retro in my life as well. It's really weird. So anyway, I listened to the latest episode. It was all about GameCube, playing multiplayer games on a GameCube.
Yes, I did catch that.
Which is a great show. I'll just park that for a moment. But it's strongly recommend it. It's really, really thorough, although they do skip over Mario Kart Double Dash, which made no sense. But they just skipped over because they thought it was talked about too much. Obvious. Yeah, it's too obvious. Yeah. Let's talk about the other things like
Smash Brothers is another one as well.
There's another one, but they did cover that. But they talked about the tennis games, which is tennis is always excellent in video games, as we know from previous Evercade car. Remember, Jim? We liked that Atari tennis game.
Oh, which one was that?
It was the one from Activision that Chris could understand why we liked it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was all right. Yeah, no, I do remember that.
So...
It left an impression.
It did. But the discussion drifted on to the mods they've been doing to their GameCubes, right? To play these games. Because some of them are playing on emulator, Dolphin emulator, I think. I think they all were, but there is a possibility of actually modding your GameCube to allow you to play these games online and stuff like that, which I know about. But there's a new mod that I was unaware of because I have my original jet black GameCube, okay, with the Game Boy player stuck underneath it, Game Boy Advance shoved underneath it, right? Yeah. All that stuff, that's all there, right? Apparently, there's a brand new, it came out last year, but it's still on order. You can buy it or order it now. I've ordered mine. It's going to take a while though, but as these things always do, it's called the Flippy Drive. And the Flippy Drive is a solderless, I'm going to say it again, or if you're American, solderless.
Solder.
Thanks. There you go, Mark. That's one for you. You're welcome. A solderless solution for having an SD card drive within your GameCube while retaining the original drive on the GameCube. No. Go on, Jim. It is wizardry, but go on.
It is, and maybe I've got this completely wrapped around my head, which is there's a good chance that's the case. So years ago, right, I bought for the GameCube an SD. I've just googled it here. It's an SD2 SP2. So that's a little SD card that plugs into the bottom of one of the ports on the GameCube, and then you just have your you have like a, what was it called? Like you had a disc. An action replay disc that you then use to boot from the SD card to get into something called Swiss.
Yes.
How is that different to what this new thing is?
Totally different.
Is it? Right, okay.
So when you turn it on, right, it boots up into a menu which looks remarkably like a GameCube menu, like a little glowing purple cubes. And all those purple cubes have icons for all the games you have on your SD card in the machine. And you don't have a little menu like Swiss. It's not there. You just turn it on. Now, if you want to run a game from your drive, your regular optical drive on the GameCube, you simply have to hold the left trigger and then it boots from the drive. That's it. And what's really awesome about this is you can actually connect it to your network by an Ethernet port, right? Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
If you do that, you can then read the SD card inside the GameCube, and you can upload stuff onto there. You can also take your original game optical games, and put them in and rip them onto the SD card from the Flippy Drive. Exciting. Very, very, very excited for that. And there's no salt. There's solderless. Remember?
Solderless.
So no sods involved in the creation of this mod. So really looking forward to receiving that in the near future. I'll let you know how I get on. so far, solderless solutions for me have been very successful.
Yeah.
But the one on the Saturn, it's awesome. That one, you just pull it out, put it in again.
Yeah, I did the Fenrir on the Saturn.
I've got a Fenrir on one of my Saturns. I've got two. I've got one that's untouched and the one that's got the Fenrir in it. Unless your name is Chris, of course, Chris Worthington, and you created a huge nightmare because you had a modded Saturn. You forgot all about. This is years ago you did that, but anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the first one for me. I'll just pitch it back to you, Jim. You don't want to hear me babble on, but I've got a couple more things to say. But Jim, what have you been up to? And then we can we can play tennis with Retro.
We can do, can't we? Well, games-wise, I've been hammering Wonder Boy on the Game Gear. So that's the current high score game. It's a pretty decent port, to be fair. I played little bits of it on and off over the years, but mostly it was a Master System game for me. And obviously, with it being a Game Gear port, it's nigh on identical, really, to the Master System version.
Really? Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's not far off.
Honestly, whenever I hear Wonder Boy, I just got Tenacious D in my head.
There's no Jack Black in this one.
No Jack Black in that one, which is it's a good song. Don't know what it's about. I don't think Jack Black knows about it.
Do you know what? Years ago, back in the dark days of 2020, when Jack Black was doing some stuff on YouTube, he got asked a question about the song Wonder Boy and the game Wonder Boy, and he said that he'd never heard of the game. I struggle to believe that.
I struggle to believe that, Mr. Black.
I struggle to believe that.
Yes. As we used to say when I was 12, Chini Recon.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, yeah. Yeah,
or if you're really obscure and very old, Jimmy Hill.
Oh yeah, Chinny Hill.
Yeah. Just kids asking grandparents, Anyway, so no, it's good. It's good. I mean, what are you playing it on? I may ask.
That's on the Analog Pocket.
Well, now we've been talking about Analog 3D. Mine's coming on its way. I haven't seen any.
Yeah,
but it should be arriving soon. I'm excited.
They said end August, didn't they?
It did, yeah.
The latest updates. Yeah.
Exciting times. But anyway, we shall have to, hold our excitement, because I'm looking forward to getting an RGB output on the N64.
I'm going to have a bit of FOMO, I think, with that one.
Yeah, it'll be horrible. Okay, so the next thing I dabbled with recently, and was it this week or last week? I get times confusing these days. I'm going to say anyway, for reasons best known to id Software and others, Raven, they decided to re-release Heretic and Hexen.
Hexen, yeah, I saw this, yeah.
And I thought, well, those games are almost. I'm not going to swear. We won't swear on this show, but I had. No one talks about. That's not true. It's not as often given the same attention as Doom. There you go. Neither of those games are given the same level of attention.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah,
but they are given attention. So, they're not ignored. I'm not going to go there. Clearly not, because they've been re-released. But they've done a very good job.
Is this Night Dive again?
I think yes, it is. Yeah, they've rehashed it, and they changed the font on the game so you can actually make it clearer to read. I said that's heretical. Hey, I turned it off, and I played it a little bit. It's a little bit too fast.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you go running around at 8 billion miles an hour. Just a little. So I can't remember the game being that quick, but you do seem to be running at bajillion miles an hour. But no, it's Heretic and Hexen. I only played Heretic. I haven't played Hexen yet, because Hexen's it's a very odd game, and it has a hub system, and the level layout is very peculiar. It's very like Dark Souls-y, like you have a hub and you come back to it and go back out again. It's all very convoluted. And Hexen come out on a lot of platforms. It came on the N64.
I was just going to say, I remember it coming out on the N64. Yeah.
It's a good game, though. Very good game. And I've added also additional levels released now. This at the time the game was made. So it's like, maybe, I'm not sure if it was fan made or they made it especially as they were remaking it. They added them. But yeah, exciting stuff. So it's always a bit of fun. But no. I got it. If you're on Xbox or you got Xbox Game Pass, current subscriber to that, although I know a few people are these days. You can get it from Game Pass. So don't go out and buy it if you've got Game Pass. It's one of those. Be careful. It's happened to me a couple of times. Oh no, I already have this on Game Pass. Curses.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of stuck with my Game Pass at the minute because my lad plays a lot of Minecraft.
I know.
And all his mates play on Xbox. If it wasn't for that, I'd cancel Game Pass.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are. Yeah, Microsoft have. Anyway, sorry. Careful. So, do you have anything else? What else have you been up to?
More, I suppose, a little bit more modern than we would normally cover. But I know.
Careful. Don't want Mr. Dean on you.
No, definitely. It's a sports game as well. So I've been playing the new Madden game on the Switch.
Oh, right. On the Switch? What?
On the Switch. Well, the whole point was I wanted a Madden game that was portable. So I normally buy Madden.
Right.
Not every year, but every couple of years I'll buy Madden. And I never play it anywhere near as much as I should. I've looked at the Steam Deck, and you can get it running on Steam Deck, but there was some faff with like installing Windows, and then it still doesn't run great. So I just thought, you know what, I'll buy it's a little bit more than I would have liked to have spent, but I'll buy the bullet. I've got a portable Madden. It come out just before it came out. It got some horrific sort of commentary online about performance and all sorts of issues. So I was a little bit umming and ahhing about buying it, but I did. And you know what? There are issues with it. Some of the stuff outside of the actual the football is great. The football is really, really fun, which is the main thing. But the stuff around that, so like it's sort of like loading takes a little bit longer than is ideal. You get a little bit of stuttering in, like the loading screens will show various.
So this is on a Switch 2, right?
This is on Switch 2, yeah. And then it sort of stutters a little bit on that, but the actual football is good fun.
Okay,
it's really good fun, and that for me is what counts.
It's when you set up those plays that actually follow through. That's the magic of Madden, and indeed 100%. It's always been that way. Yeah, remarkable thing, really. But yeah,
and when you come away from those like suggested plays, so that you get like your 3 or 4 suggested plays from your coach, you come away from that and choose what you want to do, and then it comes off. That's yeah. So yeah, I've just sort of start playing that. I'll be getting hammered on holiday, Chris.
There's a classic NES or NES football game. Is it Techno Bowl? That's the game.
Bowl,
that's the one that people point to. When it comes to American football games on retro systems. That's the one. Although, of course, there's the really, really old one, the handheld by Mattel, but it did like American football with little LED lights just flashing. How you played that, I had no idea, but people got something out of it. So
yeah, of course, yeah. And then, the Vectrex got American football game.
They did, yeah. As did the 2600. Anyway, we could go on a whole history of American football games on this show, but we're not here to do that. Maybe a future time. We can't brainstorm that here, Jim. That's a bad idea.
What about you, mate? Anything else?
Well, yes. Hot off the recording of this episode of Retro Asylum, I actually released a video this morning.
You did?
Of a game that came out the day before. You know, because I backed it on the Kickstarters.
Straight on it. So I saw it. Yes, I did see the Kickstarter, but shame on me, I never backed it.
No, that's fine. I get it. Kickstarter has a reputation, especially with video games. Less so with board games.
Yeah, games. I think games for me is I'm a little bit wary of.
It's a bit wary of, so that's fine. However, this one followed through. They actually delivered. Yeah.
Really quickly as well.
And I've been dancing around the title, so let's just focus on that, shall we? It is indeed Project X Light Years. So this is an update, a reimagining of Project X made by MK Games. And they've got spiritual or emotional support, if you like, from Team 17. But Team 17 are actively invested in it, or they haven't put up any money or anything like that. It just gave them rights to make the game. And then they got their own funding through Kickstarter. And I made a video about it. I'm not going to talk about it too much here, but I did do a video where I played the original Project X although that's not strictly true. What I played is the 1993 version of Project X, which is an update special edition, which they made it a little less punishing. Because it's infamously, it's infamous for its difficulty, and we were talking about it in our little discussions between the hosts of Retro Asylum, because we often do chat there, believe it or not. We're in constant communication about all sorts of things, and this come up about Project X. I think Steve mentioned the fact that the ship doesn't move very well, not very responsive, and it sort of floats around the screen and hurls itself into things you don't want to hurl it into. And he's kind of right, unless you actually increase the speed and then it becomes a little bit less sluggish to control. So, it's a bit like Whizball-like in that regard. You've got to do pickups and stuff before you actually get the game to be controllable. It hasn't aged that well, I'm not going to lie to you. There's lots of problems with it, but it's still a fun game. I think it's still, it's worth your time, I guess. And you can gentlemanly get better at it, as I was doing. But so that's the original. Here we are, 32 years later. Think about it. 32 years.
Long time.
It's not 15, everyone, or 20. It's 32 years. Yeah. Okay. So, Project X now technically could have children and a career and a house and... It could have grandchildren. Yeah, it's not a millennial, is it? It's not a millennial, no, it's a Gen Z. But anyway, I don't know. But anyway, it could have not grandchildren. Let's not get carried away. This new game takes aspects of the original. It is still a lefty-righty shooter, but adds a little, not little, that's wrong. Adds some quality of life things. Adds some more features. Really, really expands on the power-up system, because that's the thing that Project X was famous for, is this string of power-ups, just like the Gradius games, right? Or indeed the original Nemesis. Nemesis is the first one. But then it went to Gradius, and then there's R-Type and stuff. All those games where you had to pick up, and we will be talking about games like this later on in the show.
We will. Actually. Zero Wing, famously, yeah.
Yes, we will be. And another one, which is painfully hard, we'll talk about later. All of them are difficult. But that one particularly, begin the letter A. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, that has power-ups apparently, but you don't really get much chance to use them. But going back to Project X, it's on Steam at the moment. I'm not sure of any plans to go on other machines or other consoles, but it is on Steam at the time of recording this. Now, they haven't released a demake for the Amiga, just to be clear.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be nice, but they haven't done that as far as I'm not sure if they've got any plans to do that either. But this is very much a PC game. So if you want to know more about that, do go to our YouTube channel and have a watch and leave a like and subscribe if you can. That would be lovely. But yeah, I had a really good time with it. It's a very slick and well produced game. Lot of sound effects, music by the same person, Alistair Brimble, I think his name was. He's done the music for this new game as well, 30 years later. And interestingly enough, there's a little voice that sort of says, get points for pickups and things like that, or boost your armor, or gun, all that stuff. The same person who did the sample for the original game has done it in this new one. So there's some continuity between the original developer and this new game, but it's a nice touch.
Does it sound like suitably different then? They've not just reused the samples or anything?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, they've reused the samples of the person speaking.
Yeah.
But they haven't used it. He's just recorded new ones for this new. He's recorded them for new games. So I think it's a nice touch.
Nice. Yeah. How does it feel going from something like Eartheon back to that?
It's a different game. It's not pixel art. It's actually just it's a regular Steam. An Amiga could not do this. They can't run it. It would be impossible. It needs a modern machine. Put it this way, I would say even a Switch would struggle with this.
Really?
Yeah. It's that kind of like, there's a lot going on the screen. But not. What's interesting is they made it a bullet hell shooter, which is interesting because the Project X original wasn't one. It really wasn't. It was a bullet dodge, a different sort of different genre.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So this is now a bullet, very much Ikaruga-like. The sea of bullets flying towards you.
Yeah, people say that about Batsugun. That it's more of a dodge 'em up
dodge them up. Yeah. Whereas I'm not an aficionado on this kind of stuff. I do know a fair few people who are. There's probably screaming down in there, whatever they listen to on a podcast, going, "You idiot, Chris! You've no idea what we're talking about," or something like that. But from what I remember, Project X was never a bullet hell. It was just an unfair because the bullets would move very, very slowly and they're really, really small, and you go, "Oh look, plonk," and you just die. It was just awful. But yeah, that's my thing. Anything more? Because I've got one more thing I want to.
I'll just quickly one quick shout out to. I played it on. So I did a stream a couple of weeks ago and played a Master System demo called Raising Core. Really, really fun little game. So go onto itch.io, do a search for Rising Core. If that Master System vertical scrolling shooter sounds like your thing, it's a 1-level demo. Go and give that a look. Because it was good fun. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Speaking of good fun on things from the past, do you remember the DS?
I do. I'm familiar with it.
Right. So we did an interview with the lovely people behind the Spectrum Next, as went down really well. People really liked it. And, a lot of the stretch goals, I'm just saying, looks like they sort of got inspired by that conversation. Just saying.
They've just put up their last couple of stretch goals, haven't they?
I think I might have to send an invoice for consultancy fees. But anyway, we'll park that for now. Yes. But during that conversation, because I remember, as you can tell, I remember what people say to me. You notice that it goes in here and it doesn't let go. We talked to Chris from Elephants, I'm an elephant-like. So I'm not sure how to take that. But anyway, speaking to Chris from Games You Love, Chris Hill, he said, we were talking about the 3D games on the DS. Yeah? I went, you can't actually get the Outrun 3D, can you? You can't buy it anymore. The store's been closed down. It's not like if you've got that on a DS, that's worth a lot of money kind of thing.
3DS.
3DS, the 3DS. Yeah. Sorry, apologies. I didn't say 3DS. I sometimes get mixed, but then I realised that actually, they're very different machines. The 3DS actually has an operating system, whereas the DS didn't. So anyway, the 3DS, then he said, they released a bunch of those on a cart. And I didn't know this. And you can still buy it from Amazon. I went, really? And I did.
I'm looking at it right now.
I did. Brilliant it's an amazing collection of games.
It is.
Doesn't have Outrun on it, though.
Does it not?
No.
Hang on.
No. It's got Power Drive. Or Power Drift, sorry. Power Drift.
Oh, dear. We nearly had an edit point then. I nearly dropped a Pokeball. I could have ended up inside a Pokeball.
That would have been on now we're reporting from A&E. But
you're right, Chris. Yeah, I apologise.
No Outrun.
So I bought it for Galaxy Force. Yeah, because I wanted to play Galaxy Force 2.
Yeah,
that's on there. Oh, that's a great little cartridge.
If you've got a 3DS still, get this cartridge. It is amazing. Honestly, it's just, I don't get the headaches that people get when they play 3DS, so I don't crank it up, but I put it about halfway because that's the sweet spot for me playing 3DS. So I had a wonderful time playing that for a bit, and then I went, don't I have an Outrun on this? Because, and I did. Yay. And I forgot, and I played Outrun, and it's a much easier version of Outrun. That's my criticism. You can crank up the difficulty of it. It's far too easy. But
have a look on eBay. Because there is a second one that's a Japanese exclusive.
Oh.
And it may well be on that. Because
right.
I've got Super Hang-On as well on my 3DS, but I bought that back in the day when the eShop was still up.
Right.
So I've got Super Hang-On and Outrun. And honestly, mate, they are brilliant ports. So you may find that it's on the Japanese exclusive sequel.
Interesting. I don't know. Anyway, so 3DS still a good machine, and retro, Dean. Cheers. Nintendo don't make them anymore. There's no eShop anymore. They've closed everything down.
We did suggest the Wii, didn't we?
The Wii is it's coming up to 20 years now.
Yeah,
it's not quite because it's a couple of years away. But I remember when I got mine from where did I get mine? Oh, it's from Game. Yeah, I got it from Game. So yeah. But I remember that. No, yeah. So yeah, 3DS, big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Shall we
get your batteries back in your Wii
remote? Also, public service announcement. If you do have cartridges or machines from that era, like the 2000s and stuff, 1, it's almost 20 years old, those machines. 2, those batteries might be not so great anymore. Kind of, they put on some weight. Yeah, just,
yeah, that's true.
Okay, so you might want to check them out over the holidays. Just get them out, unscrew the back, make sure they're not bulging. If they are, take them out because it's not safe, and get new ones or something. All right, but the PSPs are notorious for this. You got your PSP, have a look, make sure you haven't got any bulging. It just happens. Hasn't happened to me, touch wood.
Happens to us all, Chris. As we get older, we all get a little bit more rotund.
We don't. Speak for yourself. Anyway, so I think that's it, isn't it, for our wibblings. Let's go on to the news because stuff's been happening.
It has, and some stuff that's relevant for the Toaplan carts as well.
Yeah. So we'll do because we will build up to that because I know that's what everyone's here to listen to. But we're going to ramp up to it.
We'll take our time.
Take our time. This is the art form, so it works. So first thing, and this blew my mind until I read the detail. So apparently Ubisoft, that's right, them, the ones that make, the Assassin's Creeds and the things. That's
they're
pretty much
going.
And they're still going. I do like Assassin's Creed games, so I'm not going to chide them for that, but that's what they're known for. Well, they also have the publishing rights to the Settlers games because they bought out a company called Blue Byte, which is a German company. Do you remember them? Anyway, but yeah, Settlers was a big freaking deal on the Amiga. I don't know if you remember, but when it came out, it was one of the last sort of games that came out. And then in 1996, so this came out in like 1993-ish or 1994, so late in the Amiga's life, just towards the end of its life. You might have me saying that, people are going to go, hang on, you can't say the Amiga's dead. You've just been talking about Project X. But anyway, I've just realised I've said that. But anyway, let's move on.
I would say it was well dead by 96, Chris.
Yeah, let's just hand wave that for a moment. But anyway, Ubisoft and Blue Byte decided they're not going to release the sequel Settlers 2 on the Amiga. They're going to release it on the MS-DOS and Mac OS. Quite frankly, that's the version I got when it came out as well, because I loved the Settlers on the Amiga. But by the time 96-year-old rolled around, in 95, September 95, I still remember this, is when I bought my first PC. And it was Windows 95 PC, and it was Pentium 100 monster. It cost me $2,000. God. That was so expensive back then.
$2,000, that'd be worth $1 million these
days. Exactly. There's lots and lots of details about it, but basically they're re-releasing it for reasons that I'm not entirely sure, but they're releasing it on the Amiga. They're releasing Settlers 2 Gold Edition on the Amiga in October this year.
Which is awesome, isn't it? It is. That's awesome.
And it's not a port. It's like optimized version to run on the Amiga, right? So it's just incredible. But there is a caveat. Ready?
Go on.
It only works on AGA or PowerPC Amigas, right? That's the first thing. So the full spec you need to run it is as following. An Amiga with AGA chipset, as we said already. Mm-hmm. Processor needs to be a 6080-40 with running at 40 megahertz. That's a monster of a CPU for an Amiga. It's got to have 32 megabytes of fast RAM. It's got to have Amiga OS 3.1, AHI 4.18. I'm not sure what that is, but it's got to have 600 megabytes of free hard disk space. So I think the easiest thing to do that is basically you need. You also need retargetable graphics, RTG. So I think my advice, and there's a piece of advice given in this news article I'm reading now. I'm going to give them some credit. They're called Gaming Retro, Retro Gaming News. So I'm going to give them some credit there, and we'll link them on the show notes and stuff. But they recommend that if you got a accelerated card like the Pi Storm, that would be perfect for this.
So is this aimed at like the Vampire and things like that? Is it?
No, it's aimed at Amigas that can actually, because you can. I mean, if you have an Amiga, if you have an Amiga 4000 or Amiga 2000 that's got ramped up, but no, I think it's a 4000. It used to be 88, isn't it? So Amiga.
So you're chatting to an absolute Amiga noddy here, because I never went down the Amiga route. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, no. So I went Master System and Sega Mega Drive, and I went after Spectrum. I went well away from
interesting.
Computers.
Okay, all right. So the Amiga, this is the last sort of gasp Amiga versions. The AGG, Advanced Graphic Array, I think that's called. That stands for. It's a bit of a misnomer. It's like a half sort of baked thing that they tried to increase the performance of the Amigas just before they died a death. And this is where, so it's aimed at those machines, and you need to have an accelerator card inside and a graphics card installed as well, which doesn't normally happen in Amigas. So O1200s don't have graphic cards at all. A4000s do, absolutely, but not 1200s. However, if you have something called a Pi Storm 32, okay, which I do, you can actually put a Raspberry Pi 3B on it.
Yeah.
Squeeze it on. And then that does two things. Basically, it replaces the CPU, so you can actually run you could go 60, 80, 60. You could do ridiculous CPU inside, and then you also have an own graphics card as well on an A1200. So because it basically has its own HDMI output from the Raspberry Pi, so you can just pump it out from that. So if you've got that, and they're very cheap, they are very, very cheap actually, considering what they do. You can get one of those, and then you can get this thing. Now, how they're going to deliver it, I don't know, because they're going to put it on floppy disk. Are they going to put it on CD-ROM, or are they just going to download it?
They're going to have to make a few available on floppy disk.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought. I would have. Oh, well, they've got details here. So the box edition. So here we go. Physical edition will feature a classic box format with a slip lid for €50, give or take. Include DVD plus download option. I don't know many Amigas that can see DVDs. Yeah, collector's edition is at €99. Comes in a wooden box with more tat, Jim. We like tat. And then there's finally a digital edition for €30, which you can just download.
I think they call them feelies, don't they, these days?
Yeah. But the official launch is at the Amiga 40, which is a convention in a place that I'm not going to pronounce, somewhere in Germany. But it's the 40th. Basically, it's a celebration of the 40th anniversary or birth of the Amiga. So fair play to Ubisoft. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And again, like I could say, complete Amiga noddy. But with stuff like this, the things that you're going to need if you want to buy a copy of Settlers 2, you're going to need various bits and bobs added to your Amiga. Are all these components still very much available, or is it going to be a case of like mad scramble on eBay to see what you can get your hands on? And
Pi Storm 32 is very young. So within the last year. And
that covers everything that you...
you can get one of those, get a Raspberry Pi, program it. You have to download a bunch of real-time sort of drivers within them. You have to basically have the Raspberry Pi programmed to communicate with the Amiga. So, but it's not hard. It's been done before.
I imagine there's a ton of tutorials out there.
It's very easy.
And probably even more so now that there's a new game.
Yeah, and this is a wonderful thing to do, and I'm very tempted myself because I did love Settlers 2. Problem is, I do have it on my PC. I bought it on the PC. I still have an original copy somewhere, but I do have an original copy of Settlers 2. So, you know, but it might be a nice to have, but I don't, But I applaud Ubisoft for doing this.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see Sega go, and even Nintendo as well, just dip back into their old stuff and we're going to re-release something on a Super Nintendo.
Oh, I see, because you just said Nintendo don't re-release things. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, obviously they
that's
do.
That's their business plan.
For one of their old machines, just
I see. Just re-release. Yeah, no.
It makes absolute no business sense whatsoever.
No. But I think it's nice. But I think because the medium by which they can deliver this game on is, still. Although it would have been nice to put it on CD, not DVD. That would have been, that would have enabled people to load it onto their Amigas. But I don't know of any DVD drives that can work on an Amiga. But I'm sure a lot of people in the comments below on YouTube will go, "I'll make you find."
Yeah, there'll be ways and means.
There's ways and means.
There always is with these things, isn't there?
So with a bit of an up story, okay, we're now going to go on the downturn.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So So apparently, I didn't know about this. There's a game called 90s Arcade Racer. Well, it's been a bit descriptive, really, but that's what it was called. Back in 2013, it was crowdfunded. Once crowdfunding was fledgling.
I remember it. It's graphically similar to Virtua Racing.
Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona. Yeah, that's it. I just assumed it was long dead.
It is. The person who was involved with it, Antonis Palakonos, has walked away from it some time ago, back in 2019. That's 6 years ago now. Just walked away. And it's now, apparently the game website's still up, and it's still been promised for the Switch, the PlayStation 4, there you go, and Steam, and it's coming soon. That's been 6 years. So I think it's basically put out to pasture. It's one of those vaporware games.
Yeah.
Trouble is, though, there was a record label got involved called Scarlet Moon, and they wanted to make musical tracks for this game, because you can't have a game tributes Daytona without banging tunes, right? I mean, 90%. No, that's not true. 70% of the experience of Daytona is the music. I think. It's just the.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but yeah. Okay.
I'm doing hyperbole. Give me a break.
Yeah.
But you're right. Of course, it isn't. It's about 20%, but I'm just inverting it.
But
right?
It's a massive. It's a
massive part of it, but not quite that much.
It's one of those games, isn't it? You walk into an arcade and you hear that Daytona.
Oh no!
And you know it. Everyone knows it.
And it's good. It's a corker of a game. I love playing on the Saturn. I know it's not nearly as good as the arcade version. It's really quite scaled down on the Saturn, but I still quite like it. It's not a great port. It really isn't. I much prefer the arcade original, but still, Daytona, corker of a game. And I think we released it on the 360, didn't they? I seem to remember they did do that.
The 360's got a great port, The Xbox, the PS3 as well, that got a port,
and I think that was pulled from the store because of licensing and stuff like that, and music. Yeah. Anyway, Scarlet Moon is this record label that made the music for this. They made a bunch of tracks, and they just realised that the game is in vaporware, so they've just decided to release 2 tracks that they made for the game.
Why not?
Just release it. Just, they just got fed up they realised what had happened, and they apparently historically had a meeting with the people behind the game, and they said it wasn't going to happen. They met them at E3. That's how long ago they met them, when E3 was still a thing. Don't you find it fascinating that Gamescom has taken over E3? Never saw that coming, but it did.
Is it next week, Gamescom?
Yeah, I've been. Gamescom was awesome. I should go back. I think
we're maybe teeing it up for next year. Hopefully,
if you do, let me know, and we'll do it, because it's the food alone. Honestly, so good. Anyway, Gamescom, big thumbs up. Do love that show. Okay, so we'll link them to the notes about where you can get the tunes. I think they're available on the YouTubes and possibly Spotify. But anyway, have a look, have a listen. They're quite good.
I will give them a listen. Yeah, nice. It's such a shame, isn't it? Because it did look the bit.
It did look the business, but there's been a lot of games released since then that do a lot of it anyway.
There is, yeah.
So I'm not too upset about it, because people follow in their wake that are far more competent. So
there's a Sega Rally one, isn't there, as well, that seems to have been coming forever. But I believe you do still get updates with that on Steam. So fair play. That's obviously it's in some sort of development.
Yeah.
But I remember there's going off on a tangent here. Now there was a game called Hazelnut Bastille. There was a Kickstarter game based on very much sort of taken the nod from Legend of Zelda. So like A Link to the Past. It looked amazing, and I think they've put out a demo, but it's been delayed for years and years.
Dear.
But the developer always sort of comes back with like a little sort of carrot on the end of the string, sort of thing, just to keep people. Oh, it might still come. It might still come. I mean, these people take a lot of money.
I know.
A lot of money.
I know. Anyway, we're going to end now. Not end with two more stories. There's two more stories that are both positive. So don't worry, everyone. Bit of a downer, but no, I'm inclined. There we go. We're going to end the new section on a high. But the first one, if you were involved in retro computing or retro gaming in any way last week, you would have definitely seen images of this incredible port of a game called Cubix on the Spectrum. Now, Cubix is actually a Steam game from a fair few years back, 2012, I think it was. And there was a competition called YRGB 2025 of people making games on the ZX Spectrum to be considered for an award. And there's a whole raft of them. I've downloaded a bunch. I've loaded them on my actual Spectrums. I say plural because, of course, I have more than one. And they are, it's just fantastic. But this one is the one that's really piqued people's interest. Like, what is this? And it looks a bit like Fez, because you basically are rotating a whole world round. And it's, but this one particular game, Cubix, caught a lot of people's eyes. It is like, what wizardry have they? How? And it's just been so basically one game developed by a homebrew developer called Gogin, and it's described it. They've described it as the first ever 3D platformer for the Spectrum. I'm getting hang on, pause. First ever 3D platformer. Is that true? And they go, well, I mean, you could do Nebulous, but that wasn't 3D. That was actually 2D. So you go, okay, we're not going to have the Nebulous argument either again. Thank you very much, Jim. And that's best on the Amstrad. That's a fact, Steve. So you know, and we'll never let it go. And but it is an extraordinary piece of technology. How they pulled this off, and I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. People now have far much more time to work on these machines than they did back in the day. Okay, so because they have more time, this is like 40 years of knowing the innards of the Z80 microprocessor and all the memory addresses and everything you can do and the tricks you can pull off on a Spectrum now. As while it is fantastic and extremely impressive, I'm not terribly surprised by it. It sounds really sort of insulting, but it's like because people are still, plugging away at this extraordinary machine, there's bound to be some magic coming, and here it is. Have you played it, Jim?
I've not, mate. No, I haven't got around to playing it yet.
Yeah,
I need to. But it got me seeing stuff like, and like Eartheon that came out recently just before that ZPF. It got me thinking, sort of that 8-bit and 16-bit, and you do see it with the 32-bit as well. But you're never going to see that for systems after that. So you're never going to see. Well, Dreamcast you do, but a lot of the Dreamcast games, they're not traditional Dreamcast games as you know it as such, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, it's just this remarkable they're still making. I'm not going to. No, that's wrong. And it's great. No, it's great that people are making games for these old platforms that people long since think they're dead. And it's long may it continue, and long
absolutely
it will continue.
It will continue because relatively speaking. People our age, we are still quite young. We've got a good few years in us, hopefully, to carry this on. But things like, I suppose, like PS2, Xbox, GameCube, systems later than that, you're not going to see anything like this. Because the tools aren't there. And
I mean, this is the thing. When you said the tools, that's important because the tools we have now, they didn't have back in the day either.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do real-time editing of all the assembly code and stuff like that. They couldn't do... I mean, he wrote this. I've just read it here. He started writing this in March this year, Jim. March.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
March, he did it. 4.5 months it took him. And he did the prototype in C#. So he wrote it in C# and then eventually ported it into assembly. And then just... He probably does have a wizard's hat.
Yeah.
Probably does.
Yeah.
Probably, he has the word wizard on it, but 1 Z, not 2, because that would be bad.
Big long beard.
Yeah. Well, maybe beard. Yeah, maybe beard. Maybe trimmed. Or might have a Mad's beard. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Mad's beard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then finally, another positive story. And this is a device we've mentioned on the show a couple of times, but tentatively knowing that it really isn't retro, even though it looks like one. I'm talking about the Playdate. You're familiar with it?
Yeah.
So the Playdate is an extraordinary device that I really want, but I just haven't got round to getting. I should order one now.
Same. I've had a little... Chris has got one. I've had
he
a little,
does, yeah.
On his.
Yeah, we're talking about a game. We're talking about the Playdate still, aren't we? Not his dog.
Yeah, we are. No, we are still. Always crank.
Always crank, steady. But so why are we talking about it on Retro Asylum? Because you probably go, that's it. I'm going to write to my MP about them not talking about a modern console. No, you're right. You're right to calm down, breathe. It's all right. Everything's going to be fine. Because there's something called the Crank Boy. Now, the Crank Boy, which is a program released or an application, or whatever they call them whatever they young pups call them these days, an application, an emulator, a Game Boy emulator has been released on the Playdate. And it's called the Crank Boy. Why? If you don't know, the Playdate is a bright yellow console about the size of your palm, and it features a crank. Many people think that crank is used as a winding mechanism to power it up. Although that would be hilarious, it really isn't. It's actually a controller. You use it as an interface thing. Anyway, and apparently these Game Boy games can run with the crank.
No way.
Yeah, there are Game Boy games that utilise the crank, and it runs very, very close. Not quite, but it's getting full speed and sound on. They got a video of them playing Zelda's Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Running at full speed with sound on the Playdate. So amazing, absolutely amazing.
There's a couple of fishing RPGs on there as well that I reckon.
Yes, I know, but careful. The modern games, otherwise Dean will have a car.
Well, yeah, I know, but they are modern games, aren't they? Yeah, they're styled as the old as old games, and the same as like stuff that comes out on Steam.
I mean, the interface. I mean, you look at it; it's got a D-pad, 4 directions only, by the way. Well, maybe 8 if you press them both diagonally, and then there's an A button and a B button, and then there's a start button on the top right-hand corner, and a crank. That's the only thing. If you cut the crank off, it will just look like a Game Boy. It looks very similar to a pocket analog, doesn't it? Really. The problem is it's bright yellow, but
yeah. No, I love it. Like it's exactly the sort of thing that Nintendo would have done a few years ago.
They would have done. I'm not critical. The colour's fantastic. I'm saying that I do not believe you can get an analog bright yellow. Might be wrong though. I think you can actually. Oh, I'm wrong about that.
They went for a phase, didn't they? Releasing, I think you can get a glow-in-the-dark one.
Yeah. But anyway, there you go. That's the news for me. But you've got another one, haven't you, Jim?
I did, just to lead us into the cartridge. But again, I've got so many windows open. There we go. So, Toaplan games. So, Dean put up a video of Tiger Heli, which got an Atari 7800 port.
Yes. So it's better than the original arcade version.
It looks surprisingly good.
It's really good.
I was amazed.
It's so good. Yeah,
it was far better than it had any right to be.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
I endorse this opinion.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. I completely agree. It had no right to be that good, and then it was. But it's a new game, isn't it? It's another new game for an old platform.
On cartridge as well.
On cartridge. Not only that, but on a 7800. Most people go, sorry, what's that? No, I do have one. I have a 7800 Plus as well. So I'm actually going to be pre-ordering those carts, I think, because they look. I mean, it's we'll be talking about that game later, but it's a good port.
Yeah. And the other one was obviously we'd been playing the Toaplan games through Evercade. There's 4 cartridges out now, I believe. Yeah, 4 cartridges. I'm just looking over my shoulder. Yeah, 4 cartridges. But they've just released arcade. Well, they're called the Toaplan Arcade Collection 1 and 2. So they've gone on to all the modern consoles, so Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Series S and X. And they basically, it's the games that are pretty much most of the games that are on these 4 Evercade cartridges, but sort of collected down onto two collections now. There is a physical.
You can't play those on a bat, though, can you? Eh?
You cannot. You cannot get the state of that.
Sorry for the listeners. That was really bad podcasting. But yeah, I just held up my my Evercade EXP with the weird V grip at the bottom of it that allows me to play Tarte. Is it Tarte or Tate? I think it's Tarte, isn't it?
Well, I say Tate.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You don't rotate.
It's got an accent at the end. You rotate. Something. No, I think it's a Japanese term. Anyway, but yeah, it's whatever. Up and down shoot. Perfect for up and down shooters. And anyway, yes. So, but you can't do that. Well, no, correction. On the Switch, you can put on Tarte mode. You can.
I've got a vertical. Is it called a flip grip or something like that? I think it's called for the Switch.
Only works in the original Switch. So.
It does, yeah. I'm still waiting for him to announce something for Switch 2. But,
he might, but last time I spoke to him about it, he was when the OLED Switch came out, and I said, "Are you going to do it for that?" And he was very angry. He was a bit terse. Let's just say that. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. All right, sorry. But you never know. Yeah. Hope springs eternal.
Fingers crossed. And if they don't do it, then someone else surely will.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Anyway. So that takes us into the Toaplan 1 cartridge.
It does.
What cartridge it is, I think, anyway.
Yeah. So do you want to talk? You got some. Let's talk about Toaplan, because I don't know much about them at all. I mean, Data East, Namco, those guys. But these, Toaplan. I mean, having played this game, I'm kind of annoyed that I don't know much about them. Jim, tell us about them.
Well, I mean, if you do have a look up so there's a series of books called The Untold History of Japanese Game Developers. And I should have made the note really which one, but there are a couple of interviews in these books. But basically, they were founded. The Japanese video game developer founded back in 1979, and they were around predominantly in the arcades really until they declared bankruptcy in '94. Obviously, they did stuff on the Mega Drive as well, so things like. Most of these games, I think, got a Mega Drive port, didn't they? Truxton was obviously the famous one.
As featured in a recent episode of Backpage podcast.
Oh, was
Don't
it
ask.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
I wasn't aware
I think
of that.
it was. Yes, it was. I believe it was the Games Corp. Yeah, it was a Games Corp episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I do love those. Yeah,
Zero Wing obviously was another famous one with the Mega Drive port and that. But they, after they went bankrupt, a lot of their developers went off. They obviously the Cave was one of the famous ones that sort of come out of the ashes of Toaplan. But then like the devs went off to work into all like the major studios at Taito, Square Enix, Capcom, Bandai Namco. So their footprint has kind of gone pretty wide across the games sphere, if you like.
Yeah, looking at a list of games that former members, they joined like studios like Bandai Namco, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Square Enix, and Taito, of course. So, and Taito's got some really good collections, which we can talk about in the future, because there's some coming out on the. There's some Taito stuff coming up. But Taito,
Evercade, there's the Evercade carts coming now, in there.
That's it. That's what I remember.
So they're
and they
out,
did the bubble, didn't they? So, that's right.
September, I believe it is. There's 2 cartridges. They look great. They're in fact they are up for pre-order on Funstock.
I'm very tempted.
As we record this, so yeah.
So we did do a high score thing.
We did. I was just going to ask, what did you have any knowledge of Toaplan growing up? Because I played, what was it, Flying Shark on the Spectrum back in the day, but I had no idea if it was a Toaplan game or anything like that. And it's a great little port of that. It's a really good game. But I was a lot younger. I would have been like sort of 9 or 10 playing that.
Right.
And so I had no idea who Toaplan were or anything like that, but I could obviously recognise a good game.
Of course, yeah. And I do recognise a couple of these games, but I don't know. I'm one of the older members of Retro Asylum, which means that I drifted off from the 8-bits much earlier than the other team members did. And the 87s when I left. And then went on to the ST. I've told the story many, many times before, which means that I never really got to see the +2 in action. I'd sort of left it by then. So I don't, and I went deep into the ST and the Amiga realm, and I didn't really have that much of a relationship, a really positive relationship with arcade games, because I didn't live on any seaside town. I live in London, southeast London, which was, very sparse for any arcades. In fact, they weren't any. And period. You could go to Trocadero or you could go to Leicester Square and stuff. And there were some rare times when I did that, but it was a very rare. It wasn't a regular occurrence. That was like, So because of that, my relationship with arcade games is relatively later in life. I didn't have any affection that's not correct. I didn't have any relationship with them. I didn't know about them. I was unaware of them. And for much of my my gaming life, if you like, it was buried either in ridiculously complicated RPGs or real-time strategy games on PC or third-person action adventures, that kind of thing. So it wasn't until the last 15, 20 years or so that I've grew an appreciation for arcade games. So, that's just the way it is. So I didn't really have an understanding of how important these things were until I was basically exposed to them as a very mature adult.
Yeah, no, I was the same. I didn't really grow up with a lot of arcades around me. I remember playing Snow Bros in the arcade. So when I used to go ice skating as a whippersnapper, and they had Snow Bros and Mortal Kombat. I remember that being at Nottingham Ice Stadium. So I remember playing Snow Bros there then. Yeah.
So I'm going to grab the cart here for the viewers on YouTube's. I do have my copy here, and. Well, I think it'd be a good idea to just go through the games now, if you don't mind, Jim.
Let's go for it, mate. Yeah.
There's a lovely little thing about the one of the things that the Evercades do is, unlike the Switch, when you open up the box, you actually get something inside it other than the game. And there's a little manual here. It talks about Toaplan as well. It talks about the developers and the origins. And it does give you an idea. So I'm going to actually, for the benefit of the listener and viewer, I'm actually going to not read out, but use this manual that's in my hand, paper. Look, you can hear it. Look, there you go. To actually because this is the kind of stuff they give you in the game box. Sorry to blow smoke up Evercade's arse, but I just did it. So the first game we're going to look at is this is in alphabetical order. No, yes, it is. They are in alphabetical order. Thanks, Wikipedia, because that's what I got the list from.
They're in a different order in the manual, aren't they?
They are. We're going to talk about Alcon, also known as Slap Fight.
Slap Fight, yeah.
A game which should be called Slap Fight, or just slap you in the face. Because let's talk. We'll hold our breath on the. Let's not go too far on the opinions yet. Let's talk about the game. So it's released in 1986. It's an up and downy shoot 'em up, as opposed to lefty righty. Right. It does support Tate mode, of course. And it was released, like I said, in 86 in arcades, and was also ported to a lot of home systems. And I mean a lot. I think all of them, really, wasn't it? Pretty much. It was a big
I don't remember playing any ports of this game, though.
No.
Not one. One of the things that struck me with, it's a really pretty obvious comparison, was Namco Xevious. So that was obvious. That was much earlier. So that was like 82, 83 Xevious. Mm-hmm. And this is obviously 86, so a good few years later. But you could definitely see the influence.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks very much like Xevious, only way more difficult.
Much better, I think.
Much better the game. Yes, Xevious is a pretty game, but it's a very, very shallow one. Whereas this has a little bit more depth to it. You've got his power-ups, which, by the way, you have to trigger by pressing a button.
You do.
Doesn't automatically do it. You've got to tell it to do it. Jim, what's your take on this? I've been talking a lot.
So I really liked Alcon. I thought it was a great little vertical shooter. Me and Mads were doing the little picks episodes, we talked about the power-up system and how once you learn the levels, you learn the speed is the main thing. You've got to get your speed up sort of two or three power-ups. But once you've got that, then it sort of opens up the game to how you want to tackle a particular stage. So you might find that you're in a certain stage, you'll get certain enemies that are best attacked with like a wide spread. And I thought it was a really good early vertical shooter that forced you to learn the levels and then approach each one. It sort of made you put your own stamp on it, sort of tailor it to your own game. What we did in the high score challenge was completely break that. I was having a lovely time with this game and we completely broke it. So it turns out there's what's called like a pacifist mode, where if you go into the game, but you just dodge everything, you don't fire a shot, then you eventually will lose a life, unless you're, really, really, really good. It will then start you further on in the level, but it will give you fully powered up ship. And then basically once you've got that fully powered up ship, you're like a tank. And it kind of just ruined the game a little bit. So for the high scores, you kind of so the question came out, and I can't remember who it was that mentioned it. But the question came out, and they've been doing a high score challenge on another website or another podcast or something. I can't remember what it was. And they said that they were allowed to use this pacifist mode. And so the question came out, could we use it? I said, well, we can't say no, because how would we know that you weren't using it?
Yeah, no idea. It's
go for it.
King of Coal all over again, isn't it?
Just without the hair.
Yeah, without the hair and the really interesting choice of ties.
Yeah.
And well-trimmed beard.
So I'm just thinking Billy Mitchell now, instead of Alcon.
You said the name. It's going to sue us. Oh God! But yes,
no, I said he'd got nice hair, Chris. I didn't say anything else.
No, it's very twitchy. Go on.
For me, I thought it was a fantastic, really, really good shooter. We ruined it, and that's this. It's not the only game that I've got this opinion on. We ruined it by by pushing for high scores. I think go back and play it as just a vertical scroller. Obviously shoot for the high score because that's what you do with these games. But don't use that pacifist mode because I think, and I maybe I misread the Discord group, but I think there was a lot of that feeling as well at the time. That pacifist mode, you basically, if you wanted to post a decent score, it kind of felt like you had to use that.
To do it, right? Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, that's a bit Asteroids-like, isn't it? You know, you go into a corner and shoot the little spaceship as he goes flying by, and you get loads of bonus points, and then rack up loads of lives, and etc. etc. You know, arcade games are going to have these things, and when people's playing for hours. Now, next one. Again, alphabetical order. Yeah, sorry.
I'll just say, so each of these games that we played for the high score comp, I'll announce who was the winner for the high score. So how we did it, we ran a spreadsheet for the month. We had 4 games, and the game would change over at the end of each week, or that it kind of ran over on a couple of games, Chris, but don't tell anyone.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Me couldn't count 7 to 7 days.
Maths is hard.
It is. But so Alcom, Doc Hauser was the high score guru on Alcom. So well done.
Well done. It's a respect offered and given. Now, next one is a game I love playing, but not on the arcade. This is Flying Shark. Released in 1987. It's a shmup again, up and downy. And it's biplanes. You're flying a little biplane. And I love playing this on the Spectrum. I think it's one of the best Spectrum up and downy shmups that's ever been made in the history of ever. Quite incredible. Smoothest scrolling I've ever seen on the Spectrum. If you haven't played it, just do it. It's such a good game. And I think it's actually almost better. I think it is actually better than the arcade because I struggled a bit. Yeah, I struggled with this arcade original. But you know, there it is. What's your take on Flying Shark?
So there's not many games that I would have the PCB for. If I did sort of tentatively look at going down the PCB rabbit hole for my arcade cab. Donkey Kong is that's a given. And Flying Shark. I absolutely love this. I think it's a great game. I think, I mean, people talk about like the Capcom 1942 series, don't they, and all that. But
it's normally the first game you play on your Mister.
Yeah, right.
942 is because it's the top of the list.
Yeah. But for me, Flying Shark.
Flying Shark.
Love it. Yeah, I love it. It's and I don't know if that's, like I say, I had this as a Spectrum game. And I wasn't aware of it as an arcade game back in the day.
Again, did not know.
And so I don't know if me playing the arcade game is maybe like some sort of triggered nostalgia of playing the Spectrum game. I don't know, but I absolutely loved it.
Okay.
But we didn't put this in as a high score game because it had already been picked as a high score game before we were sort of doing it officially. Yeah.
As you know what I mean, as you've noticed, we've been waxing lyrical about the first 2 games. Kind of tells you the quality that this cartridge has. It's one of the best Evercade cartridges. Sorry to spoil things a little bit there, but we'll come back at that later. But I'm saying this now because the next game going to come out is, not every album has a banger, does it really? It's all killer, no filler. I'm afraid this next title is definitely filler. Not keen on this one. There's going to be a phrase I'm going to use at the end of this discussion about this game. But the game we're talking about is, I use the word game, Guardian. Guardian. Released in 1986. And the genre, apparently, according to the manual, says rather nebulously action. Not sure what that means. How can I describe it? Try to imagine Shadow of the Beast, only with a robot and even worse controls and worse animation.
Oh, I feel that's a bit unfair.
So That's my take on Guardian. What's your take on Guardian, Jim?
So yeah, we were umming and ahhing over whether to pick this in the picks episode, and I went with it. So this one was purely on me. So we wanted something a little bit different to a shooter, which this absolutely is.
It is.
Scrolling. Scrolling.
Call it that, I guess.
Scrolling beat 'em up, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
Mixed views.
Mixed.
Fair to say on the Discord.
Wow.
Do you know what? I didn't think it was actually that bad after putting a bit of time into it, and you know what? It wasn't ruined by any pacifist modes or score chasing or anything like that.
No.
It was just to see how far you can get, and it felt, if I'd had longer than a week, it felt loopable or completable. It did feel like you could build up your so you could build up your power. So you collect some power ups as you go. You can power up your punch, your kick, and you can get a little gun that will take enemies out at a bit more distance. You've got some bosses in there. You can learn the boss patterns and stuff like that. I think there's a good, not good, but there's a playable game in here for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I thought so anyway.
That's nice.
And it was nice to play something that wasn't a shooter, and I don't think the puzzle game in here, which we'll come on to, is particularly strong. So that's why we put it in.
So congratulations to Chris Atwill for playing this game. Okay,
it's not that bad. Not that bad, Chris.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to sign off with "Let us never speak of this again." No, we're not. We're going to move on to something more pleasant now. Snow Brothers. Now, this is a game that you were quite infused about. I saw on Discord people were losing their collective selves over this one. I'm trying to find it in the manual now. Where is it?
So while you're looking for it,
here it is. Here it is at the back. Here we go. Oh, it's quite a late game, not surprisingly, because it's very unique. It sort of borrows heavily from a certain other game beginning with the letter B and might have involved two brothers as well. So 1990 is released. It is a platformer. Hang on.
Single screen platformer.
Yeah.
I suppose like the main difference between this and Bubble Bobble is instead of blowing the bubble to sort of encapsulate the enemy, you're rolling up snowballs. But as with Bubble Bobble, you chain the bubbles together by sort of connecting them, if that makes sense. Whereas in this, you'll roll the snowball, and then that can sort of snowball, no pun intended, into other enemies, making a bigger snowball and then collecting all the enemies. And the trick to getting a good high score in this was to wipe out all of the enemies in that single screen in one snowball. As Chris Worthington says, every game is a puzzle game. The puzzle in this is working out the route and where to build your snowball to get all of the enemies in one shot. If you can't, then obviously two and take the hit on your score. Brilliant game, this.
Brilliant.
Ruined by going for high scores for me.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you start off going, I messed it now. I messed this up now. I've done it wrong. Can't get it. And it's just like you have to redo this. It's just like, it's very similar to when you're playing if you're playing Bomb Jack. Ever played Bomb Jack?
Yeah.
And it's very similar to that, and you go, got the wrong one. Got the wrong bomb. Now I can't get any bonus points. And it it degenerates into you having to reset the level, reset the whole game because you did one thing wrong, because you're punishing yourself. But
when you get like 5, 6, 7 screens in, after like getting perfect screens before that, frustration just builds and builds.
Yeah.
If you take that out of the game and just play it for the game that it is without chasing that high score, it's a fantastic little platformer, I think. Really, really good.
Really good.
And it got a really good Mega Drive port as well.
I'm not surprised. I'll have to seek that out, actually. But I did enjoy this thoroughly. I thought it's an old arcade game. Can't imagine playing this in an arcade. But there it is. I think what's remarkable about it is there's way more to it than what you described, because there's a mechanic where if the snowball hits you, you get caught up in the snowball as well. And you go trundling along with everyone else, killing. But you don't get killed. Everyone else does. Because you just burst out and go, okay, I'm down in the bottom corner again. I'm going to have to carry on doing things and picking things up. But, yeah, really pretty as well. Animations there. Really solid game. Snow Brothers. It's definitely a step up from the previous title, which, again, shall not be mentioned again.
Loads of little secrets in this, which I couldn't quite work out some of the triggers to. I know we mentioned Bubble Bobble, so I know obviously in that there's things like how many steps you take, how many times you'll fall through the screen, how many bubbles you'll blow, pop, and all sorts. And I couldn't quite work out the triggers to get power-ups appearing in Snow Brothers, but I'm sure if you wanted to do enough reading and digging, you could work that out. Yeah.
We got a high school winner.
We have indeed. So it was Heavy Metal Don.
Yeah.
Donny.
He ploughed a lot of time into this one. Yay!
He did.
No, never mind.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
It's a bit tenuous, that one, but we'll let it go.
I'll give you it.
I mean, I'm still suffering from, the G game, so I'm still, recovering from that. Anyway, it is. Let it go, Chris. No. It's Frozen. See, look, reference. Never mind. So next game. Yeah, I mean, Tetris has got a lot to answer for, isn't it, really?
It has.
I mean, everyone go, oh, I can do that. No, you can't. What are you doing? Oh, you're doing it. Okay.
I think so this is Techie Packy.
Techie Packy, yes. It's released in 1991, and it is a puzzle game, and it's a match-up puzzle game. So if you Bust a Move, which is, it's more Bust a Movie-like. Bust a Move like, or Bust a Move 2, more specifically. No, it's a similar genre. I'm not saying it's the.
Oh yeah. Puzzle-wise,
you're trying to create chains, and that's what you're trying to do. You're building up chains, so you actually create cascades. So as one block destroys, you meant to match 4 of them in any sort of configuration, and basically they just sort of fall from the top. And the other one, as you're destroying one set, you're then adding woe to the other person, just like in Bust a Move. So, it's all right, isn't it?
It's all right. I mean, the thing is that they're always in like an L shape, aren't they? The blocks?
Yeah.
So you don't get the variation in that.
No.
I think the game lacks the character of something like Puyo Puyo.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Tetris.
No,
and that's the obvious comparison, isn't it? Because it's a block sorting game and they come from the screen. I think I like that they tried to do something different in that you can make so they can be just as long as the blocks are touching in Techie Packy, so you can line up diagonals, horizontals, and verticals, and you can get some good chains going that way. But I don't know, it just lacks a little bit of personality, I think.
There are some special blocks you can get.
Yes, there are.
And they do explode, and they do all sorts of weird and wonderful things if you capture them in your cascade effect. But I did find that quite satisfying, but I wasn't really drawn to it. I wasn't nearly as compelled to return to it every now and again. I thought, it's all right.
Yeah, I found with it, you get with me. For me, I'd get to the same sort of point in my game every time, and then the difficulty just spikes.
Yeah,
and my game would be over pretty much around the same sort of playtime every time. I didn't feel like I was ever getting through that barrier. Yeah. Dr. Mario is another one that's can be a little bit like that, although. I feel like I can push through that barrier a little bit sometimes in Dr. Mario. If luck's on my side, I feel like I can push through the barrier with that. Whereas in this, I've never felt like I was quite mastering it, just because the difficulty just ramped so quick.
Yeah, I think for me, the number one is still Tetris, especially Tetris Experience and Tetris Effects and the latest versions of Tetris. Especially ones on VR, they were amazing. But and then close second is Bust a Move. You can't, that really is exceptional game. Still play on the PS1 every now and again. I've got Bust a Move 2, and I remember buying that going, and they always released it on they also released it on the PlayStation 2, but I just don't think, I'm sure it's lovely on that. But
they did. I've got my game up there, actually. There's not too many PlayStation 2 games that I leave out on the shelf now. They're mostly arcade games.
Yeah, it's games like that and Rez.
That's up there.
Rez got a kind of, but then I always think Rez is a Dreamcast game. Anyway, we're going off topic. I do love Rez, by the way. Any chance to mutter about it, I will. I just did.
And that VR Rez is just amazing.
Gonna have to do that again because I've still got a PS4.
It's just perfect for VR, isn't it?
So good. Anyway, talking about things that are perfect for VR, it's not. We're going to go on to the next game now. It's not a segue. It really isn't. It's not. We're going to talk about a game called Tiger Heli, which we were waxing lyrical about on the 7800 just a moment ago. I'll say a moment ago, about half an hour ago now. I hope people are still listening because I know I am. Tiger Heli is released in 1985. So it's a much, much older title. I think it's the oldest title on this. Definitely shows. Boy, does it show. And it's a shoot 'em up and downy again. Up and down, you shoot 'em up, and you're flying an attack helicopter over what appears to be Montana. I mean, I don't know why you're flying an attack helicopter over some small town in the Midwest of North America, but apparently you are. There probably is a backstory. I don't really care, but it did feel a bit odd that you're blowing up small, villages, and not villages, but small. They're like houses with white picket fences around them. It's all very odd. But what's your take on Tiger Heli, Jim?
Yeah, do you know what? After playing Alcon, I was like, I've gone back and played Tiger Heli and put a bit more time into it, and I think again I like it. It's amazing that it's a year before Alcon, because Alcon just feels like 2 or 3 years ahead of this in terms of like the power up system and everything else. This does feel a bit basic, but I think it's a playable game. I really do. I think it's a good early vertical shooter. Obviously, it went on to the Twin Cobra games. The first Twin Cobra is one of my absolute favourites. It's another one I think I probably would, if pushed, I probably would get a PCB for that. There's always I make a beeline for certain games whenever I go up to Arcade Club. This is one of them. Parodius is another one. Sorry, not this one. Sorry, Twin Cobra is one of them. And Parodius is another. And I'm just thinking that line down, if anyone's been to Arcade
Parodius. Club, that's not the weird indie game, is it? No, that's the other.
No, it was what they did for Nemesis, Gradius, and then they made Parodius, which was like a parody of the two.
Right.
It's one of those anime sort.
Oh, that's true. Yes, I remember now. I'm going to stick with the weird indie game though, but yeah, go on.
But yeah, no, I mentioned it just because I've got that stream of Electra coins down at the top floor in Arcade Club in my head now. But yeah, Tiger Heli, I liked it. It is basic. It's a basic early,
very early vertical up and downy shooter.
But it's the only it does feel very slow.
Yes, it is very slow. Very slow, and it's a little bit unfair. The tanks and the shots, they're a little bit unfair, and it's the design is very how can I put it?
Unforgiving.
Yeah, unforgiving, but embryonic. It's like it's the beginnings of what will be very good up and down. I mean, you can see the roots of games like Ikaruga and stuff like that in this. This is the proof of concept kind of. This is where we're going. And back in the day, 85, looking at 1985, it is really impressive though for 1985. For sure. The shading, the colours, everything. Then again, back then I do remember. The arcades were more powerful than the home systems, all of them, and that didn't change until the mid '90s when the PlayStation arrived and went, oh damn it, and then it was suddenly, by the end of the '90s, it all kind of collapsed, and that was inevitable, really. But that aside, a bit Swiv-like, isn't it? Looks a bit Swiv.
Yeah, I'd give you that.
Yeah. less brown though.
Less brown, definitely less brown.
Less brown.
A helicopter that flies through treacle.
So we're now going to move on to, because that wasn't a high score game, was it?
Sorry, Chris. I was just going to say, like you said earlier, definitely check out that 7800 port.
Please do.
Yeah,
it is not way better. That's wrong. It is an interesting take on the game. That's better. I'm not going to say it's way better. It's a different experience, a different game. So Truxton then. Now, just to be those few listeners that also listen to the back page, not the truck game, not Truck Town. It's Truxton, not Truck Town. They've called they misremembered it as Truck Town, and apparently quite rare on the Mega Drive to find. If you try and look for a copy on the Mega Drive, it didn't sell terribly well, but that doesn't matter because we're playing the arcade original. Truxton then, released in 1988, so only 3 years. 3 years. 3 years after Tiger Heli. Amazing. The technological advancement in those 3 years is phenomenal.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely astonishing.
It's literally, it just feels like going from like a 8-bit micro. I know I'm being,
I'm
exaggerating here, but it feels like that jump from like 8-bit micro to
16.
To 16-bit,
yeah,
it does, 100%.
I know it's not still an 8-bit probably processor or multiple processors run this. I don't know. It doesn't go into details. I haven't really got into the backstory here. I don't want to read that out. I want everyone to find that out for themselves. We're really here to talk about the games. There's a lot of games to go through, so bear with us. But it's an up and down here again. Works with the Tate mode. And, or Tate, whatever you want to pronounce it. And, wow. It's beautiful. It's smooth, no flickering. I didn't see any of that.
No.
It's but rather unforgiving.
Yeah, very unforgiving. Yeah.
There's two little blobs that come up quite early on in the game, and they really once you get through them, there's like a rite of passage. Once you get through those two mini boss dudes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I always hang to the left of those.
Yeah.
Hang to the left, and you should be all right.
Should be okay. But you do need to taking them down is possible, but it's hard. What's your take on this, Jim? Truxton?
Again,
not Trucktown.
Such an iconic. We talked earlier, didn't we, about iconic soundtracks in games? We were talking about. Daytona. This is another one that you hear that soundtrack and you can pick it up. Again, I'm going referencing Arcade Club because I know they've got it on one of the like the Astro Cities at Arcade Club, and you go into this little room that's just full of the Astro Cities, or the little candy cabs, and you can pick it out. That is full of like the best like shoot 'em ups that are known to mankind, sort of thing. You got all sorts in it. Bats-a-gun, Dodon Patch. You got everything, and then you just got this little Truxton game from 1988. And it just there on this like 25-inch CRT, and it just looks amazing. It sounds amazing. These massive sprites on there, throwing bullets all over the place. Yeah, I loved it. Such a good game.
I would say I did play this cartridge on my Versus as well, or VS, what we want to call the console version of the Evercade, and throwing this up on the big screen. It's a real eye opener. And now you can do it again on your PS5 as well and stuff. So that's all good.
Yeah.
And the reason go on.
I was just going to say, because if I play, on the VS, I play on a monitor that I can rotate. So as well, obviously the rotate function works on the handheld, but it also works on the screen if you've got a screen that you can rotate. And again, it just gives it that extra little bit if you throw in an arcade stick as well. Yeah, it's good.
One of the founders of Toaplan is Masahiro Yugi, and he made a very interesting comment about this particular game. Yugi-san, he said, I created Truxton by imagining the music while placing the enemies. So I think this is the game where I will be able to express myself the most. So he was using the music to influence the pacing of the game. Wow. Back in 1988.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is why you were so drawn to the music, and that's why I was too, because it was intrinsic to the game. In this instance, you might argue maybe it was 70% of the experience that the soundtrack was. I don't know, though.
Totally, like, subconsciously without realising it as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Really
and again,
stuff.
the only reason we didn't pick this out when we did our pick, for anyone that hasn't listened to the picks episode that we did, it had been so. Cast your mind back to a few years ago for the RA Game Club. Truxton was a Game Club game.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than playing it again, we decided to sort of shine a light on one of the other games. But it wasn't because it was a lesser game or anything like that. It's an incredible game. But we'd already covered it in the Game Club. So if you want to know more about Truxton, definitely go and check out the Game Club episode. It would have been Mads and Chris.
Yeah.
Because I think it was even pre-Mark.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's back in the day when we used to broadcast in Latin. That was
the old days.
The old days. So finally, last, but I'm not going to say least. We've already covered the least game on this list of games.
Tacky Packy, yeah?
No.
Oh.
I said we will not speak of it again.
Oh.
And this game is Zeroing. Now, if you were on the internet 20 years ago, Zeroing wasn't so much famous for its, shall we say, shoot 'em up. It's a lefty-righty shoot 'em up. It's the only lefty-righty shoot 'em up in this collection, actually. So your Tate is not going to work on this very well. So yeah, so you don't have to. My big sort of handle thing is not going to. Doesn't work very well.
No,
I had to remove it when I was. I had to remove it when I was playing this game. But Zeroing is very, very famous because, if you noticed, Jim, it's probably before your time. I don't know, but 20 years ago, this became really, really famous for one reason. It had the European version had an appalling English translation. I mean, it was really bad.
This was a meme before memes were a thing.
Yes, it was a meme before memes were a thing.
Yeah.
Move Zig. Okay. Somebody set us up the bomb. That's another one. We have no time. It's a very well known. If you can't, it's up there with Leroy Jenkins. It's from that era.
Yeah.
Move Zig. Move Zig. Somebody set us up the bomb. So if you can please expunge that from your mind, breathe. I know it's in there now because I put it in there, and you're probably furiously looking up on the internet going, "Oh, I remember that." Please stop. Listen to us because we want to talk about the game now because there is one.
I remember seeing on game FAQs like all your base belong to us.
All your base belong to us. That was it.
I remember seeing it. This was in the old game FAQs days.
Yeah. A winner is you. Like I think that's from another game, but that whole Japlish thing that would happen. Yeah. So, but let's talk about the game itself. Released in 1989, and it's a shoot 'em up. And it talks about the actual in the book. It talks about what we just said, the meme before memes, and what's your take on this? Because I found it a little bit easy, isn't it?
Do you reckon?
I found it. This one, I really grokked. I can't use that phrase anymore. I just really found it a breeze. I just like, okay. Oh, to the point where
it's quite tricky.
No, maybe I don't know. Maybe I prefer lefty. I do generally get on better with lefty-righty shooters than up and downy.
Yeah, same. I think if I was, yeah.
So these are all technical terms, by the way. Arcade aficionados.
Horizontal shooter.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, Zeroing, really liked it. Imagine, for anyone that hasn't played it, imagine R-Type and something like Nemesis or Gradius had a little baby. You'd get Zeroing. So you got that futuristic horizontal shooter, but the difference with this compared to Zeroing, compared to something like R-Type, you've got this power-up system, a little bit similar to Alcom, really. I'm again saying that because it was a Toaplan game. But you can choose your weapon type. Mm-hmm. So you've got red, green, and blue. Each one will give you a different type of fire. You can then power that up as you go. So you'll collect. If you just stick to greens, you'll collect your green. If you then go to blue, you'll go back to the base layer of blue, but then you can power up your blue by collecting more blue.
Yeah, really clever. I did like that. That.
It's got 2 ships that fly either side of you. So that gives you something else to think about in terms of your arc of fire, I think this gives it something really different to think about. It is this feature where it's like got a tractor beam, where you suck in an enemy, for want of a better word, and you can use that then as a shield. So depending on the enemy that you have in front of your ship, if you get a small one, you'll have like a smaller shield. If you got a bigger one, you'll have a bigger shield. Obviously, that then there's more chance of you hitting other enemies because you've got a bigger shield in front of you. So it gives you that to think about. Like R-Type, there are little corridors that you'll have to navigate, especially in level 2, I think it is, where you've got pillars that go up and down, so you get you have to time it right to get through the columns. So again, that very much like R-Type, that sort of thing. I think it's a really good shooter. I prefer this to something like Gradius or Nemesis myself. There's obviously like that Gradius and Nemesis influence there, because obviously you can see the power-ups. That power-up system, it almost feels ripped straight from those games. But I think this just does those games better.
Yeah. I think it's one of my favourite games on the collection, to be honest with you. I just really got on with it, and I just the tactical nature of picking up power-ups. That's what I love about these games. That's why I love the left and righty ones. I don't know why, but because you can see the power-ups much more ahead of time, you can either grab them or dodge them as you see fit. Whereas in the left, up and down, you don't have that time. Even if it's extended, it's just something's wrong, that the timing is much shorter. I don't know if it's my brain or I don't know, but I just find it difficult to manage my power-ups on up and down of this era. I'm not talking about later eras, the last 10 years, because there's some really excellent ones, by the way. Cinemora and stuff like that. Really, no, that's left and right. But there's some really excellent games, recent games that do a much better job. But I'm talking about this era. There's something about the timing of power-ups and coming at you from above rather than from the right. So there's something there. But I just really got on with this game. I managed to move on from the meme, and whenever even though I muttered it every now and again, like as you do as a ritual, muttering away as you play it. But all your base are belong to us. So Zero Wing, big thumbs up for me. I really enjoyed it, and I think this. I'm going to do the sign off, and I'll hand over to you, Jim. Just the final thoughts on this particular cart, and then we'll sail off into the sunset. Give some. We do the draw. Do
the prize draw.
Big prize draw, and we've got the spinny thing coming up. We've also got some community news coming up as well as a sign off. But I just want to talk about the cartridge itself. I already said it earlier, so I've kind of spoiled it a little bit. But I think this is one of the best Evercade cartridges I personally own, and highly recommend it. It's got it's got 7 games on it. There's another one on there. I'm not sure what that's about. That's a G, but there's 7 games on it, and it's really it's my but get it if you got an Evercade. Get this one. There's number 8, purple arcade ones.
Purple Arcade 8.
Purple Arcade 8. That's standard. Confusingly, it's Toaplan Arcade 1, so it's collection 1. But highly recommend it. Works really well on VS as well as the handheld. Also on the Alpha, I suspect on the Alpha it probably works really well. Still don't have one of those. I'm very tempted. I might get one. I think I might get one, especially after playing this, because I suspect playing this on a little tabletop arcade thing must be awesome. So what's your thoughts on the Toaplan arcade thing?
Yeah, I'm more and more tempted by the Alpha as well, to be honest with you, mate. Even though I've got a cab behind me, I don't know, just something about playing these games, especially with the Taito carts that are coming, the Neo Geo carts that are coming. Yeah. I love it. I love shooting. I love shoot 'em ups. It's probably one of my sort of. I'm not great at a lot of them, but I just love playing them. And yeah, I think it's got a great platformer on there as well. So again, I love single screen platformers. I'm going to keep pestering to do a Bubble Bobble series episode.
Well, I've already recorded one for Cane and Rinse, so I can't be on that one. But but I won't be on that one because I've already waxed lyrical about Bubble.
But I love my single screen platformers, and Snow Brothers is up there. I think with Bubble Bobble.
Yes,
if you're not chasing for a high, if you're not chasing for a high score, I think it's a great game.
But it does suffer from bomb jack syndrome, so be wary.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that if you weren't chasing for a high score.
No, but if you were,
if you are, then
it suffers badly from bomb jack syndrome.
The vertical shooters are great. There's a great horizontal shooter on there. I love the Toaplan one, but I don't think you can go wrong with any of the Toaplan cartridges.
No,
I would say.
No, I think they're really quite. Like I said, don't have a great history of arcade games or arcade systems. Fully admit that, but this Evercade has been introducing me to them. And for good or ill. Usually for good, but I think the arcade. I mean, originally, as we know, Evercade didn't have these arcade ports. I mean, one of the lovely things I have these arcade systems is that when you boot up the game, it actually does the arcade turn on, like ROM check, RAM check, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a little touch.
I think stuff like that's important.
It is. It demonstrates that this really is the ROM. This is really you really are playing the original arcade.
Yeah,
whereas
and it just puts you in that frame of mind, doesn't it? That you're firing up the arcade cab. It's checking I know it's not, but it's checking the RAM and everything else.
It's really good.
It's part of getting you in the zone for that.
Yeah, it's like you've got the PCB totally. Like, no, you don't, but it feels like you do, and it's a nice little touch. So because you haven't spent tens of thousands of pounds to have the PCB to run on a cabinet you built out of your own, sweat and toil.
No, I think it's a great car. I think we've mentioned the emulation as well. I didn't see any issues with any of the games.
No.
Glaringly obvious to me. I didn't see anything.
No. And just going back to the point I was making was that really Evercade originally didn't have the arcade. It didn't have the rights to run arcade games. They had to run the NES versions, or indeed Sega Mega Drive versions, or the or Genesis or SNES versions. They couldn't. They didn't have it. But they do now, though. That's hence the purple carts. But if you want to know more about that and how that came to be, listen to our Evercade interview. So anyway, we've got some more prizes and things to give out, though, haven't we?
We have, mate. Yeah. So
you want to do your high score and draw?
Yeah. Like I say, we were chatting to Sean and Andy after the recording. They sent us over some goodies. So we said initially, first place was going to get, I think it was a VS. Oh, what was it? I can't remember. I should have learned. I should have read this. Shouldn't I have written this down? It was the console. It was the VS, the latest version of the VS. So that was won with a copy of Toaplan 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
With a copy of Toaplan 4. So that was won by Heavy Metal Don. So he won the overall score competition for the month. Second place was a collection of cartridges that were donated to us by Stephen James, so one of the listeners. So shout out to Stephen.
Well done, thank you
for that. Yeah, really, really kind of you. So that was won by Plastic Man. So he got second overall. I assume he's a man. Plastic Man. So that was won by Plastic Man, but he didn't want the prize, and he asked for it to go to the person who finished third overall, which was Rich Monster Hyde.
Fair enough.
So that has gone over to Rich. I believe Dean has sent that already. And Donnie, I have posted your prize today. So that should be with you next week.
Right.
Then we had, that left us over some more stuff that me and Mads and Chris, we were chatting about what the best way to do it was. And we thought we'll have a draw it's for a copy of Tomb Raider Collection 1 and 2, the Evercade cartridges, obviously, and a Super Pocket. So this is the Data East Super Pocket.
Show on screen. Show. There it is. There it is. Burger Time. Still one of my favourite games, even though I have nightmares about the egg with a little black dot in it.
There are some banging games on this. There's some really.
It is
really
lovely.
Good
orange is a lovely tone to it. So
the
wood grain one and the Atari one is appealing, but I don't know. I much prefer. I like the colour of this one, the orange, bright orange.
Yeah, there's some really good games on this. So we're going to do a draw for that one.
Okay, do you want to do the thing?
I'll do the thing. To get entered into the draw, all you had to do was submit a score for each game. So we played 4 games over the month, and did we say who won? We didn't say who won Zero Wing.
Oh, we did. Plastic Man.
Oh, we did. Yes. Apologies.
Yeah.
Right. So all you had to do to get entered into the draw was to play each game and submit a score. So 4 games, and I kept track of it in like a little spreadsheet. So we had plastic. So and then
you're right. We didn't mention it when we were talking about Zero Ring. Yes, sorry. Well done, Plastic Man. You're a great Zero Ring player. All the base belong to you.
They do indeed.
You moved the zig. You really moved that zig. Good man.
Right.
Sorry.
What?
Derailing.
No, that's all right. So I've lost my thought now.
Yes.
So what I did, everybody that submitted the 4 scores for the month got entered in, and then I took out myself and Mads, because obviously we can't win. Be accused of all sorts of wrongdoings if we won. So I took me and Mads out, and I took out Rich Monster Hyde because he got the second place prize, and then I took out Donnie as well because obviously he won overall.
Yeah.
And so that leaves us with Plastic Man, Doc Hauser, Chris Atwill, Reese Wynn, Not Minor Willie, Zombie Zaphod, Jump Cancel, Jamie Jazz 80, Dr. Gru, Gaz Tower 69, Bazza MC1, John V, Muppets 4, and Paul. So I should have figured out how to share this with you, Chris.
No, you go for it.
I've got a lovely multicoloured wheel in front of me.
Oh, I'm sure it's wondrous, but don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll take your word for it.
I'm going to spin it. So, I've got a little sound effect.
Oh, that's nice. Well. It's pleasant.
All I'm missing, it's not the Wheel of Fortune. All I'm missing is Jenny Powell, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
I've got applause, and it's Dr. Gru.
Well done.
Dr. Gru.
Dr.
So well
Gru.
Dr.
Dr. Gru. Oh, Dr. Gru.
Dr. Gru.
No, well done for that. You get a Data East and a copy of Tomb Raider Collection 1 and 2.
And 2, yeah. Some good games there as well. Tomb Raider 1 and 2.
Yeah. They are very well represented there. And... works really well. They are PlayStation versions, I think. I can't remember.
PlayStation versions, mate. Yeah, PlayStation versions. Yeah. So, on cartridge 1, you've got Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider 2, and Tomb Raider 3. And then on cartridge 2, you've got Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation, which I believe was a Dreamcast game originally, and then it got ported elsewhere.
And did, yeah.
Yeah. And then Tomb Raider Chronicles.
That's really pushing the limits of the Evercade, that.
I've never played Chronicles.
No, it's a very old, very young. Well, out of the original Tomb Raider series, it's good to look kind of the last one. Not Heart of Darkness, Dark Angel, or something like that. It's not that one, but it was pushing the limits.
That's what he went over to PS2.
Exactly. So basically, it's right at the limit of what the Evercade can actually achieve. So have fun with that, and thank you so much for participating. Okay, so all of you. Without that community, that extraordinary community in Discord, it never ceases to amaze me how much fun it's to be part of. I'm very much more involved with the hardware stuff. Don't know why. I love talking about how things work, but and I didn't get involved with this because reasons. But I did play the games anyway because I knew I was going to be on this show. But well done everyone involved, and congratulations to the winners.
Yeah, I'll echo all the above, Like you say, Chris, I mean, when you do something like that, you generally create so much work for yourself, don't you? Changing a game over every week and running because you've got to check, like, your dip switches. There was games where people don't have an Evercade but wanted to play, so then you're finding the right ROM, and then you're having to check ROM versions to make sure everyone's on the same version. And it sounds really, really daft, but it just takes time, don't it?
Yeah.
And so when you're doing that 4 times in a month, but I mean, when you've got people playing it, it makes it all worthwhile.
No, it's people supporting each other and having fun and discovering game modes like, it's a pacifist mode in the Archon. Like, is there really? What? Yeah. What's that? Or Alcon, sorry. Like I keep calling it Sapphire, but there isn't there. It's whatever. It is what it is. But no, again, thank you to the community. Now, we are going to be signing off now. And again, thank you for listening to this a little bit long. We have been a while since we've done a bit of a waffly show, and also, have this wonderful opportunity to give back to the community, our Retro Asylum community, because without you, we would be nothing. But speaking of giving back or doing things, we planned this many, many months ago. We had lots of discussions between the hosts about a community event for Retro Asylum, and we decided to go to the Arcade Archive and the Cave at the Retro Collective down in the Cotswolds. And
Stroud it is,
near Stroud. And we are going to be there on the 27th of September. I am going to be staying overnight at a nearby hotel, and looking forward. We're all booked in, Jim. I think we're in the same place, and
I couldn't get in. I couldn't get into there because they wanted a second mortgage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so you went somewhere else. That's
fair. I'll be Airbnb-ing it somewhere.
Yeah, that's fair. No, looking forward to that. We'll be there all day. So if you want to come and meet, I think there's myself, you, Jim, Dean, and Chris Worthington. Possibly Steve. We don't know. We're still up in the air with Steve, but I think we're going to be really well represented there. We're going to be checking out all the old computers and stuff in the morning, and in the afternoon playing a bunch of old arcade games. So if you want to come and join us, it's the Retro Collective. And if you go there and you can sign up, we can go. We're going all day. You don't have to. If you have time, it's fine. But if you come along some part of the day, we'd be really welcome. We'd love to chat to you and meet with you. Because you do mean a lot to us. Without you, we wouldn't be doing all these silly things, making videos and running these challenges. And also, another big thank you to the Evercade people giving us the opportunity to allow us to share these prizes with you. And also, a listener, it was fantastic offering up a listener to give out their cartridges like that. It's amazing. So, can't thank you enough. But this has been a really cool show. I mean, it's been only 2 of us. But that's fine. It went well. Jim.
It did. And what was the date again, Chris, for that?
The 27th of September. So we're recording this on the 16th of August. So it's only about 6 weeks away. And, a bit of personal sort of like sharing. I've got a lot of days that I haven't booked off leave. So I'm taking the week off beforehand because I've been told I have to take some time off. I haven't done any. Nice. I haven't done much this year. So, better do that because I am going to PAX Unplugged probably at the end of the year if things calm down a bit. Who knows? But I was going to do PAX West, but I decided not to for, icky reasons. But speaking of icky reasons, I just hope no pub gets us banned because, so another person went to the Cotswolds recently and was refused service. Let's hope we don't suffer the same fate.
I'm sure we will. But there will be, obviously, we'll sort a curry or a burger or something for afterwards.
There will be. There will be.
Food and
I've been to the Cave. I've been to both once back in 23. But I want to make a better time because I actually went and did a day trip and it was quite exhausting by the time I got home. It was really quite. So I don't want to do that again. So I want a little bit more time at it, and really looking forward to meeting everyone again.
It's an incredible venue, isn't it? It's such a good venue. I've been a couple of times when Alex from the 10 Pence Arcade was running the arcade.
Yeah.
Arcade Archives. And we had one was a talk with the author of Arcade Britannia. So he wrote a book about the British arcade scene from the early days. And that was great. And then there was another one where Alex did a talk about Sky Skipper.
That's right. So, yes. It's a rare game. Let's leave it at that, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah, there's. I think it got put up on YouTube on the Retro Collective. They're known as these days, aren't they?
Fun fact about Alex. Just he won't mind me saying this. It's not particularly controversial, but I did not know this about him. But many years ago, about 12 years ago, when I first met him and stuff, we were talking about games and stuff. And as you do when you meet a fellow gamer, you sort of talk about your favourite games and stuff like that. And they said, what's your favourite sort of title and what's your favourite genre? And I was expecting like a up and down shooter or like a Street Fighter or no, turn-based tactical combat games.
Really?
Yes. His favourite genre is XCOM and things like that.
That kind of makes sense. I listened to going off on a tangent again, Chris.
That's fine. We'll sign off eventually, everyone, but go on.
Yeah, I listened to the recent 10 Pence Arcade podcast, and he picked up Julian Gollop's one of Julian Gollop's games on the Spectrum.
Yeah, told you. Yeah, it's just not. It's not arcades. It's tactical squad based. So I'm not sure if there's all sorts of awesome tactical games out there. Nights in Tight Spaces is a really good one. Anyway, let's just sign off on a non-retro game there. Sorry, Dean. And first of all, Dean and everyone, all the other hosts, shout out to them for being as awesome as they are, and also shout out to all and also just as a little sign off, a big little thank you, not small thank you, but RGDS doing good stuff over there. Keep at it. It's good stuff.
I like that. Yeah. And a shout out again to Sean and Andy over at Blaze for their help with this episode and sending us over the goodies.
Yeah. Oh well, should we say goodbye then?
Let's say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Enjoy your week, Chris. Bye.
Bye.